talking about the FN Scar 17 NRCH Mod 0. In the back here, we have the Ugg boot of death. 50 Shades of Peanut Butter. This back, listen to her squeak. Here is the safety 45 degree. Here is the bolt catch, bolt release. The magazine release. This is the charging handle. We're gonna be shooting Igman 308 147 grain because I spent all my money on the Scar. Let's load the $60 proprietary 20-round box magazine. Now, let's insert the magazine. Let's rip some rounds. Okay. If you've been living in a cave, you probably have no idea what this is. This is the FN Scar 17 Mod 0. And this thing is phenomenal, and let's get right into it. This gun, iconic. You've probably seen this in games like Escape from Tarkov. Modern Warfare 2. PUBG as well. Let's talk about how I have it set up a little bit. So I have this set up more of like a DMR roll type rifle. So the first thing we got up here is obviously the mag bipod. I'm an FDE. This thing, honestly, not the best bipod on the market, not gonna lie, but it definitely gets the job done. And then right up here, I have the MREX 6.25 handguard extension right here on my Scar. This is all FDE. This handguard, honestly, just fire, phenomenal, so good. And yeah, I got a Vortex Diamondback 4-16 on here by 44. This thing, honestly, really fire as well. I also have a little story. So I went out shooting with a couple of my buddies. One of my friends wanted to shoot it, obviously, because I mean, this thing's phenomenal. But yeah, he shot it, didn't like it a whole lot. He said that there's a lot of recoil and whatever, and he said he's glad he didn't spend the money on it. And to be fair, that's totally valid. Like, this is definitely not something that everybody's gonna buy, but I would definitely argue if this is something you're in the market looking for, trust me, I bought this. I do not have buyer's remorse. This thing is freaking sweet. But with that being said, he said he didn't like how much it recoiled and all this other stuff, and which is fair, but it's also like, if you compare it to the same class of weapon this would be in, so like a battle rifle type roll, compared to those, the recoil's not bad. So he was comparing the recoil to 6 ARC, I believe, which, to be fair, I feel like is already a pretty light recoiling round, and it shoots very flat, and it's super precise, precision type rifle for sure. But the one thing I want to say, is that this thing, you feed it and it eats whatever you give it. 100%, you have no problems. And then my other homie, that shot it, that didn't like it, his setup wasn't running super reliably. So, you know, there's something to be said with that. But, you know, this is expensive, and it's like, I would expect nothing less of the, you know, the SCAR reliability and just like the name. And I mean, this thing is just super reliable, goes bang every time you pull the trigger, never had a problem with it. So the FN SCAR 17 is short stroke gas piston operated, really insane. So this whole like upper piece right here, it's a monolithic extruded aluminum upper. This thing is crazy. And it's actually, for a 308 like battle rifle type roll, it's actually very light. And the recoil honestly is not as bad as other 308 platforms. And it, honestly, like, just look at this thing. Like, it just looks so good. It's such a good looking gun. Okay, let's get into some of the pros and cons. Let's start with some of the cons first. Obviously, it's very expensive. This is a very expensive battle rifle. But with that being said, you definitely get what you're paying for. I mean, this thing is phenomenal. It's bulletproof. I mean, this thing just runs and runs and runs. And it's just, honestly, like, the marksmanship and how everything fits together and like the build quality, I would say, is unmatched. It's like just insane. But with that being said, it comes with a very hefty price tag. I think MSRP is right around $4 grand. I think on FN's website, it's actually retailing around $42.99, so almost 4,300 bucks. Super expensive, but definitely worth the coin, 100%. The other thing is too, is this takes proprietary magazines, and these guys right here, these run about $60 a pop, give or take. So the magazines are very expensive, and you have to buy FN branded mags. You can buy a different lower for this, where you can take like SR25 mags, and just like AR-10 magazines in general. But if you don't buy the different lower for it, you're stuck with the proprietary magazines. And then the other thing is the trigger. I mean, to be honest, the trigger's not terrible, but I mean, it's also not great either. And like, that's kind of the thing that sucks, because it's like, there's a couple areas where it's lacking a little bit as far as the price tag is concerned. But let's get up on this right here so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So right here, you have literally next to no play. It's like a little choppy. It's not terrible, but I mean, you have a little bit of take up there. See, and it's kind of hard to find the wall too. And here's the reset, boom, right there. And the wall's like it's like very gritty almost. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if I need to shoot it more. I'm probably gonna switch this out with a SCAR Geisley trigger. A lot of people do that. And that's the thing, because it's like, it's a nice gun, but there's a couple areas where it's like, man, I just wish it was better. And the trigger definitely leaves a lot to be desired. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, it's very, like, this is the stock trigger. And I mean, like, I'm having a hard time even finding the wall. And then you just get on that, boom, brakes. And then you got the reset, boom, right there. You got the brake again. I mean, it's definitely serviceable, but it does leave a little bit to be desired. Because I mean, you know, very expensive gun. The trigger's kind of, you know, not the greatest thing. So yeah, I mean, trigger's not that great. Yeah, and then the proprietary magazines. But I mean, other than that stuff, everything else has been phenomenal. Like, and then some of the pros with it, the reliability. I mean, this thing just chugs and chugs and chugs. I haven't even cleaned this. I wiped it down when I bought it brand new, cleaned out all the Cosmoline or whatever, and then just lubed it up. But I put about, yeah, like 500-600 rounds through it. Haven't even cleaned it once. Literally no problems. Haven't even had one malfunction with it. It's just chugging along. The reliability is great. The weight. This is not very heavy compared to other AR-15 or AR-15s, AR-10s. It's definitely on the lighter side for sure. When you start stepping into the wild of battle rifles, it's definitely on the lighter side. And the recoil too is honestly it's pretty soft recoiling for a 308 battle rifle. Very manageable, very doable. This thing's honestly just phenomenal. And then also the gas block right here. So if you want to come up a little bit. So the gas block right here on the front sight post, you just bring this up. And then you can twist this guy to the other side to shoot it suppressed, which is kind of weird, because it's like, I've heard a lot of stuff where people say shooting the SCAR suppressed. They've said that honestly they've had a lot of problems with like trying to shoot other AR-10 battle rifles just suppressed in general. They said they have a lot of problems with other AR-10s like cycling and stuff like that. I'm gonna buy a Surefire SOCOM RC2 762 suppressor that I'm gonna put on this, so we'll see how reliable it is. So stay tuned for the future. That's gonna be a sick video with that suppressor. Super excited for that. But yeah, apparently it runs really well suppressed because it literally has a suppressed setting, but for some reason FN, they're like, if you shoot this gun suppressed, your warranty's void or whatever, which doesn't, I don't know. Personally, that doesn't make sense because it literally has a suppressed setting, and apparently it runs really well suppressed. Like, it just literally eats anything you give it, and it's super reliable while it's suppressed. So stay tuned in the future. We're definitely gonna be doing a video with the RC2 Surefire can on it. That's gonna be sweet. Yeah, let's fold that sight back down. But I mean, yeah, this thing is honestly just phenomenal. This gun is just sweet. And then this MREX handguard. So I had to take the pick rails off on the sides and on the bottom, and I actually had to take the barrel out of the gun to get this on, because this nut right here screws straight into the barrel. And I put some thread lock, some red Loctite on that to keep it on there so it doesn't move around or whatever. The barrel's also free floated, so it's honestly just really phenomenal. And like, going back to the whole like build quality thing, there's a lot of stuff on this gun. Like it's a 16.25 inch chrome lined hammer or cold hammer forged steel barrel, and like, honestly, with that being said, it means this barrel's gonna last probably longer than me, to be honest. But yeah, this thing's honestly phenomenal. And I mean, yeah, I mean, as far as the cons go, just touching on them again, the trigger, obviously, I don't know why, but the trigger is on my SCAR, the trigger's god awful. It's so bad. But I mean, I'm gonna switch out a Super SCAR Geisley trigger on there, which is funny because it's like, you know, you already spent, you know, $4 grand for the gun. It's like you're throwing even more money into it to make it better. But I mean, that's what it is. It's a SCAR. I mean, this thing's iconic. I mean, you literally can't go wrong with this thing. Okay, and there's one other thing I want to do with this rifle. So when I took the handguard off, I also took my scope off as well. So I took the scope off, haven't re-zeroed it, haven't done anything. So there's two things I want to do in this next portion. A, I want to see how tight of a group we can get at 100 yards with this 147 grain Igman. I don't know how well it's going to do because I haven't really tried to group MOA wise with just normal ball 308, pretty cheap, just range ammo. So we're going to see how tight of a group we can get at 100 yards with this. And then the other thing I want to see too is I took this scope off to install this handguard. So I want to see how well it returns to zero. So this isn't necessarily the rifle, but I just want to see how well the scope with this Burris pepper mount. I want to see if this returned to zero well, because I have it torqued to, I can't remember the inch pounds, but I got it torqued to the proper inch pound it was torqued before when I zeroed it. And I put it on the exact same Picatinny slots that it was on before. So there's two things I want to see. I want to see how does it return to zero when you take the scope off. That's more of like a test of just the mount itself in the optic. So we'll get into that. And then I also want to see how tight of a group we can shoot at 100 yards. So let's get into that. Okay, we're at 100.8, 100.8 yards. Sources, bro, trust me. Okay, so there's two things we're looking for here. We're looking for how tight of a group I can shoot with this rifle. I'd like to think I'm a pretty good shot, but we're about to find out. And then I also want to see if this scope returned to zero, because I took this off. I put it back on, the exact same pick rail, the exact same torque. Everything is exactly how I tried to mount it back as close as I could is how I had mounted it previously. There's been a lot of stuff that I've read online where, you know, if you take your scope off and put it back on, your zero's way off and whatever. So I want to try it out here and see what happens. So let me know down in the comments below. Do you think, two things, how tight of a group do you think the SCAR is going to be able to shoot at 100 yards with me behind the wheel? And then the other thing is did this scope return to zero? So I'm going to shoot 2 groups, 10 rounds each. just in that way we're putting enough rounds down to get like a nice blown out picture. And then also how accurate it is with this 147 grain Igman. This is not match grade ammo by any means. So let's rip some rounds and see how we do on the paper down there. Okay. Pump this bad boy up. Let me set this to 100 yards. Okay. All right. Let's see how she does. All right, we just shot the first group. Pretty interesting. Wow, I'm struggling to get that magazine in. First group looks a little interesting, not gonna lie. So let's get this, let's get the second group on the paper and then we'll go take a look at it. Gonna take a second to breathe, bro. But yeah, as far as the recoil goes, to be honest, not bad. Like definitely, I mean, it's a little snappy, but once again, for like a 308 battle rifle, very nice recoil. I definitely pulled that shot. Okay, all right, sound off in the comments below. Do you think this scope was able to hold 0 even though I took it off and remounted it? And I did try to remount it the best of my abilities to see if I could hold 0, but you know, I think that'd be pretty sick if I could, but you know, I don't know. Sound down off in the comments below what you think, and then also how tight of a group you thought you think we're able to shoot at 100.8 yards, give or take. So let's go look at the paper, because the paper never lies. Looks like this is the first group I shot right here. Looks like it's pretty close. We had a couple flyers. Honestly, that was probably me. To be honest, that was definitely me. Up here, I definitely felt like I had a flyer. But yeah, it looks like right here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like I had a couple flyers that I pulled, but it looks like a good majority is in this bottom portion right here. Honestly, not bad. I would say probably like, if we leave out the 2 flyers, I'd say probably like 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA, probably, give or take. Second group, I felt a lot better after I shot the first 10. So this right here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like almost 5 of the rounds were pretty tight. I felt pretty good about this group, but there was definitely 2 rounds on this one where I was like, man, I definitely pulled those. So I think realistically, I would say probably 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA is probably fair for this rifle. But yeah, just wrapping up, final thoughts here. I mean, as far as the accuracy goes, I don't know about you guys, but this is definitely, obviously it's not a precision type rifle, but I would definitely argue trying to engage like a man-sized target. I mean, 1 MOA, well, probably 1.5 MOA, probably, give or take, 1.5 MOA. I mean, I would argue that's perfectly acceptable for, you know, what this is. This is a battle rifle, right? Not a precision rifle. But I mean, literally right here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. I almost got 4 rounds just stacked right on each other. And to be honest, these ones are probably flyers slash I was shooting out of the back of my truck and it was moving a little bit and it was hella windy. But honestly, I'm happy with that. I think it looks pretty good, and I would say, yeah, probably like 1 MOA. Yeah, I think 1 MOA is fair. Future Snake here. I don't know why I kept saying 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA. It's probably because online people say they can get about 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA. So I actually took my groups here, measured everything out, broke them down. So let's see. So these two right here, I'm not counting them because I feel like they're flyers. But right here, so the furthest point on this group is this right here. So from this side to this side, it's about 2 5/8 inch, which breaks down to about 2.63 MOA. So I got about 2.5 right here. And this is the second longest point, which is 2 inches 3/8, which breaks down to 2.27 MOA. On the first one, so this is the first target, and then here's the second one. Right here, we can see the furthest 2 shots is gonna be from this shot right here to this shot all the way over here. And that's gonna be 2.75 MOA from here to there. And then the second longest was from here to there. That was 2 inches and 5/8. I believe this one from this side to that side was 2 7/8. So that was damn near almost 3 inches from here to there. Pretty close. So that's gonna be 2.75 MOA on this top group. However, and this is the interesting thing, so I was able to stack 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds almost damn near right on top of each other, and that's 1 MOA. So that kind of makes me believe that these shots out here, it almost makes me believe that that was just shooter error and that I was pulling shots, or there's other, you know, factors that was leading to this group opening up quite a bit, because I was able to get 4, you know, damn near right on top of each other. And when I was shooting this group, there was a couple, there's a string of rounds. I was like, wow, those felt really good. And I'm assuming those are gonna be these 4 right here. But I think personally, I think this rifle is more accurate than I am as a shooter right now. In the future, we're just gonna get better. So yeah, this is how everything breaks down. And no, in this configuration, how I shot it, it was not 1 MOA or 1.5 MOA, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the rifle is definitely capable of 1 MOA / 1.5 MOA. I'm just not capable as of right now as a shooter. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. I want to talk about some of these numbers because I kept saying 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA, and these groups are obviously not 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA. So I measured everything out, got it all going. But yeah, in the future, I'm gonna shoot this again and really, really dial it in and see how tight of a group I can shoot. But yeah, thanks guys. To say for the SCAR, and this is also not match grade ammo. Like, these aren't hand loads. This isn't whatever. Like, you could probably walk that in. The other thing is too, is I'm not necessarily the best, you know, long range distance shooter. I mean, it's only 100 yards, so it wasn't even that far. I totally did not forget to go over if it moved 0. Obviously, from what we've already seen, my point of aim is right here. So it looks like it's about, I don't know, I'd say that's about 3 inches, give or take 3 inches off center to the right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so remounting that scope, the point of impact shifted about 2 inches to the right, give or take. So no, you can't just put the scope back on and have it be zeroed. That'd be sick if you could, but you know, according to this right here, you know, the 2 groups we got, not a thing. So I mean, overall accuracy, not bad. Once again, I'm not really like, you know, super good behind a rifle. I would argue this is definitely acceptable. It's about 1 MOA. I'd argue about 1 MOA, perfectly acceptable for the battle rifle. And this is also not match grade ammo. This is just literally the cheapest 308 I could find. And I am more than happy with that group at 100 yards. I think that's great. Obviously, we got a couple flyers. But yeah, I mean, as far as the accuracy goes, not bad. But yeah, final thoughts here, just wrapping up the video because the camera's about to die. This gun right here, is this for everybody? Absolutely not. But if you're one of those people, you're like, dude, I love the SCAR, I love the aesthetic, I love how it looks. Let me tell you, this thing is phenomenal and you will not be disappointed. at all buying this thing. And yeah, I mean, this thing is I mean, it's a scar, right, guys? Like, whew, good looking firearm, fantastic. You know, the sex appeal on this thing is min-maxing. Yeah, thanks for watching. Drop a comment and a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And we're gonna be doing a lot more content just like this. And you know, life's already hard enough, so make the most of it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya. This is the Vortex Diamondback. Let's put the magazine. Okay, 3, 2, 1. My that hurts so bad. About 1 MOA. You're about 1 MOA. 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA. 1 MOA, 1.5. 1 MOA. 1.5 MOA, probably 1.5 MOA. This is a battle rifle, right? Not a precision rifle.